My take on the subject, I think it's definitely a development that is happening, but we cannot assume that all private entities are for profit. I think your agency and mine are good examples. Similarly, I don't think you can assume that all public entities are necessarily not for profit. I think the statistics that Professor Pichana pointed, the poor universities in the north benefiting from rich students in the south, is a pointer. If that is not profit, what is? So you've got to ask yourself that question. So I think there will come a time, and there should perhaps come a time, that the divide between what is seen as a private provision and a public provision should disappear. That perhaps, in my view, the customers should exercise where they want to receive the learning. It could be an extremely good private university or an extremely bad public university. Mm-hmm. But that's really where I would see things this moving. That for one set of institutions, and Malaysia is a good example, there are more students in Malaysia studying in private institutions starting this year, private higher education institutions, than public institutions. They are all citizens of the country. Why would one set of students receive close to about 90% subsidy from the taxpayer's pocket, while another set of students are having to pay all of it from their own pocket? Wouldn't it be a fair system that doesn't matter where these students are, they exercise the choice, and the public purse subsidizes to a certain point, right? Now, it could be shared by the user, shared by the public purse, and shared by whatever interested parts of the community are. I think that sort of thing should perhaps happen as we see this divide disappear.
Susan?
Well, the landscape of higher education has changed so much, and as the business of education has grown, and we see these days with stock markets up and down every day, education continues to be one of those industries that continues to grow. And so as the corporations continue to, and stockholders continue to invest in these corporations, they're looking for a return on investment. We need to be careful that the students are receiving the quality that they need in all of our institutions, not just the for-profits. Well, the landscape has changed so much, though, that the accreditation is blurred. Students don't know the difference between a regional accreditation, which in the United States is the highest, versus a national accreditation, which is relatively easy to purchase. And so counselors really need to advise the students. It's not about whether they choose a private nonprofit, a private for-profit, or a state institution. The question is whether the education that they're seeking for their own educational goals and whether that institution has the capacity to help them. We're seeing every day I get requests I have upset people who want to transfer in credits. We're not able to accept them because of the institutions that they're coming from. Our regional accreditation wouldn't allow that. There has to be some equivalency. We have students who have a bachelor's degree, they have a diploma that says that they have a bachelor's degree, but we're not able to accept them into our graduate program. So I think we really need some truth in advertising, or we really need some transparency, if you will, about all of our institutions, what the cost is going to be, the estimated time to completion of a degree. And I certainly, again, would support some transnational quality standards that we can all aspire to.
We've got about 2 minutes left, and we'll take one more question from the internet. If too many private companies enter the educational realms, isn't there a high risk they will create educational islands like Microsoft and Cisco are already doing, offering their own almost mutually exclusive certifications? Is that a danger?
I don't know. Come on. If you have an MBA from INSEAD or Harvard for about $120,000 US against an MBA from Wawasan University at about $5,000 US, what are we talking about? Public institutions having a moral position that they are not exclusive. Give me a break. Now, what do you think corporate social responsibility is all about? Are we reasonably satisfied that organizations like Microsoft, Cisco, do exercise corporate social responsibilities in many different ways? And what is the CSR responsibilities of very rich universities that are charging an arm and a leg, especially from rich students from poor countries? Where is that social responsibility? Would you say that the London School of Business, I'm putting names, but please don't, it's just brands, a branded institution coming to a poor country and saying, we will provide this education for you at $1 million. But if they could also say that we are going to offer 80% of those who are participating in this a provision, a scholarship, a fellowship, would that be a good social responsibility on their part, just as Microsoft says, I'm going to put billions of dollars into providing a laptop for every child? You've got to look at that bigger canvas, the bigger picture, before we begin to say, you know, islands such as Microsoft and Cisco may be entering the educational realm to the threat of education being that social good. I do not think that's a fair statement.
Really quickly? Stavros? Sorry.
Well, I think he provoked something which is, you know, it's all a question of how things gonna, what's the new configuration? If they get the space, they're gonna go for it. If the trend is that, as you said, the getting across a certificate from Microsoft to Cisco, if that's recognized because of the competencies it's going to bring to the personal, so what? They've done their part, at least. They've brought somebody something which is of value, it's an asset, and if it's recognized by the market, it's your bad luck.
I agree with Stavros. I mean, I don't think we ought to restrict the educational opportunities that are available and assume that a certification in a corporate environment is of any less value to an individual if they're trying to enhance their ability to support their family and to be more beneficial for their company. We take a look at these certificates, for example, prepare students to be able to take some of these tests as part of a traditional academic course. Of course, we enhance it many times over, but these certificates are important for students in industry. We feel that they need some theoretical perspective in addition to that, but I think all of us together, the corporations and universities, need to work together to really help all of our employees improve their workforce advantage.
Great. Well, we're out of time. I'd like to thank you all for joining us on stage here and sharing your thoughts. And thank everybody online for participating, everybody here in the audience.
Thank you very much.